Mm. Hey there, it's Sarah, and welcome to another episode of Eat with Sarah. Today I am in my kitchen showing you an easy recipe that you can make when you're traveling, because you might not want to eat out all the time when you're traveling. So it's nice to have some really quick, easy recipes to have on hand. And I love how this is internationally inspired. As it uses coconut milk and black beans, you could add curry powder to this recipe and make it a little bit more Indian or Thai, or you could add a Mexican chili powder and really lean into the Mexican vibe as well. I will show you the ingredients and we'll get started. Black beans, a can of black beans. Try to get unsalted black beans if you can, because the salsa is going to have a lot of salt and you don't want this recipe to end up too salty. Another base ingredient in this recipe is coconut milk. And that's going to add a lot of creaminess to this recipe. The recipe calls for around 1 cup. So we're going to use around half of this. Another big part of this recipe is the salsa. So here is the salsa that I found. I want to use around half of it because this jar is 230 grams. It looks like it's around a cup, so we'll use around half. I have 2 cloves of garlic that are sliced, 1 fairly large onion that I have sliced like this. We're going to make some brown rice. So when I cook brown rice, I use a 1-to-2 ratio of rice to water. Since you're probably not going to have cups in your kitchen if you're using an Airbnb, I just measured around a cup. So it's okay if you don't have exactly 1 cup, but you want a 1-to-2 ratio. So 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of liquid. So we're gonna start off with cooking the rice because that is going to take longer. It's going to take around half an hour, but it's really no fuss rice. It's the easiest way to cook rice. So here we have my preheated pan. It's medium-high heat, 7, ready to caramelize my onions, but we're going to start on the rice first. So we're just going to turn it up all the way to the highest setting. Add the rice, and then we're going to add double the proportion of water. I have an electric kettle in my kitchen, so that makes it quicker, so you don't have to worry about coming to temperature. And the easy thing about this rice, you don't need to worry about stirring it at all. You just cover it, wait for it to come to a boil. You'll likely notice some steam coming out of it. You'll hear it boiling, and you turn the heat down to simmer. So once it starts boiling, I'll turn the heat down to around 3. Once it's cooked for half an hour, turn the heat off, take it off the heat, leave the cover on until you're ready to serve. My pan is preheated, it's nice and hot, so I'm going to add my onions to this. So with the onions, we just want to get a little bit of color on the onions. We want some caramelization because we don't have very many other things going into this. It's a simple recipe, so you want to make the most out of the ingredients that you have. And one trick to getting more flavor out of your onions is to caramelize them. And this won't take very long. You can already see the brown coming through. And notice that I did not need to use any oil. You could use oil if you wanted to use oil, but it's not necessary. I'm satisfied with the amount of color that the onions have. So I'm going to add my garlic, half of this jar of salsa. And now I'm going to add half of my can of coconut milk and black beans. I want to turn it up all the way because I want to get this coconut milk to boil, and then we can lower it to a simmer. We can see that the coconut milk has reduced, and so we can turn off the heat. Everything is done, and now I'm going to plate it. Here I have rice in just any cup. You can do this. And what I like to do to make it look a little bit nicer is to put it in a cup, and then it should hold its shape. And it just elevates the presentation. Now we're going to get some of the black beans around. You can see here I have a little bit of cilantro. If you don't have it, that's fine. It adds freshness, it adds beauty to your dish. The last thing I'm going to add is just a dash of the salsa for an extra pop of color. A little on top. And there we have it. And here we have the creamy black beans and rice. This was really easy to make, minimal effort, minimal ingredients, and most of the time that you spend is just waiting for the rice to cook and waiting for the coconut milk to simmer off. Here is our black beans with coconut milk and salsa, and served with a side of brown rice, garnished with just a little bit of cilantro and a little bit of salsa again. So we're just gonna have a taste before we go. Just the way I like it. So this salsa was pretty mild. So if you don't want spicy, you absolutely don't have to have spicy in this recipe. Hotter salsa if you would like it on the spicier side, and feel free to add any other veggies to this as well. Some veggies that could go great in here are a bell pepper. That would be amazing in here. You could even try a carrot because that goes in with the sweetness as well. Maybe even some spinach because creamed spinach is delicious, especially with coconut milk. Thanks for watching this episode of Eat with Sarah. I'm so glad I got to share this recipe with you. Please go ahead and like this video if you appreciated this recipe, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content like this. I review restaurants around the world, and I'm providing tips to travelers to help them make more sustainable choices while they're traveling. See you next time. Bye. This could